Creativity and consciousness are the same phenomenon. The awareness that powers our brain and also the world is not passive and inert space. It is generative, an immensely powerful, active field that brings reality into being, whether that reality consists of images in the mind or forms in the material world. We live out our lives in a supremely mysterious matrix that constantly creates and metamorphoses reality. We call it being. It is unseen and unseeable, without form itself, but generating at every moment all the forms in the world around us, including ourselves, and every image forming and moving through our minds. It is a miraculous field of pure, incessant creativity. From the time that we came out of the trees, humans have encountered and felt this vast, invisible livingness around them. However, since it is entirely without form, they found it difficult to grasp it, describe it, hold it in consciousness, and communicate it. So, all over the world, humans created symbolic great gods of the sky and great gods of the earth, usually in a human semblance. Demonic, fearful, bestial figures were also created to represent powerful, dangerous forces perceived in nature. In short order, it was forgotten that these god figures were symbols, stand-ins for the unseeable presence in the cosmos. The symbol figures began to be worshipped for themselves, and elaborate stories were created around them to explain the intricacies of life and man's relation to the cosmos. For millennia, these symbolic god figures in many forms claimed the allegiance of men. About 400 years ago in the West, a process of deconstructing the god symbols began with the work of Isaac Newton and René Descartes. In succeeding centuries, the symbols eroded in Western consciousness. They were discredited by the incremental, successful discoveries of science, which focused itself exclusively on the material level of existence. Over time, we arrived where we are now, bereft of awareness of both God representations in symbolic form and invisible living being. We became separated from the ground of our being, leaving us empty, in desolation and despair, and desperate for some sort of meaning. This is where we find ourselves today. At present, it is possible that a creative solution is developing to evolve our consciousness out of its present cul-de-sac. Quantum physics has taken science into totally new territory in the last half-century. It has been proved conclusively that the framework of reality that held our allegiance over the past 400 years is inadequate. It is not large enough to account for all of reality. Quantum physics, looking into the mysteries of reality at the level of particles, electrons, and atoms, has concluded that reality is one vast, unified singularity, a cosmic web of unity. Something immaterial is holding reality together. Something immaterial is unfolding the material world. Something immaterial is metamorphosing the material world, constantly eroding, altering, and removing worn-out old forms, and creating new and fresh forms. Reality is continually shape-shifting itself at the material level. The something that is so dynamic in reality is the creative force of invisible, living being. The scientists are not ready to go there yet, but the trend is inevitably in that direction. The new reality that is dawning on us is that we live in the midst of a mysterious, shimmering sea of living, conscious creativity and generativity. The consciousness that we use to navigate our way through life every day is an integral part of that sea of pure consciousness and pure creativity. When we turn inward to perceive our pool of consciousness, we are contacting the living creativity of pure being itself. The space around us is filled with this livingness and creativity. We are in a vast field of consciousness, livingness, and creativity every moment of our lives. It is time for us to wake up to this fact and realize how astounding we and the miraculous field actually are. It appears that we are now beginning to do that.